This is the Cholo News Report for Wednesday, 24 April 2019. ISIL claims responsibility for the bombings in Sri Lanka that took place on Easter Sunday. If it is authentic, the video indicates that the cell in Sri Lanka took steps to ensure that its violence would seen as being committed on behalf of ISIS, which has repeatedly called for assaults on churches, particularly since the New Zealand mosque attacks. Sri Lankan officials raised the possibility on Tuesday that the bombers were hoping to avenge the killings of 50 Muslims in a shooting spree at 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, in March. Melton Roy prayed at Salakanda Catholic Cemetery in Negumbo on Tuesday amid newly buried victims of the Easter Sunday bombing. Credited Dean for the New York Times. The Sri Lankan government claims that the bombings were revenge for attacks on New Zealand mosques carried out by a gunman during March. Hardline militant group, who have lost the territory they once held in Syria and Iraq to Western-backed forces, later released a video on Amaq showing 8 assailants, 7 of whom were masked, pledging allegiance to Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Tuesday was a day of mourning and more than 1,000 mourners gathered for a mass funeral at St. Sebastian Church in the coastal city of Negumbo, just north of the capital, Colombo, where more than 100 parishioners were killed on Sunday. Cardinal Malcolm Ranjith, the Archbishop of Sri Lanka, who led the service, urged other churches to delay memorials amid fears that more bombers may be at large. The Federal Aviation Administration, Wing plans to reach out to the local community before it begins a food delivery trial in order to gather feedback, the FAA said. Wing has recently begun commercial air delivery service in the north of Canberra, Australia, and is also about to begin its first trial in Europe, delivering to homes in Helsinki, Finland. In January, the FAA proposed rules that would allow drones to operate over populated areas and end a requirement for special permits for night use. The FAA is also considering moving ahead with additional rules in response to public safety and national security concerns as it works to integrate drones with airplane traffic. The company has touted many advantages of using unmanned drones to deliver packages, from reducing carbon emissions and road congestion to increasing connections between communities and local businesses. As early as 2013, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos predicted that the online retail giant's octocopter drones would start buzzing out of fulfillment centers in the coming years. At the end of 2018, the Associated Press reported that 110,000 commercial drones are operating in U.S. airspace, citing government figures that also projected the number would more than quadruple in 2022. A magnitude 6.5 earthquake strikes the islands of Visayas, in the Philippines at 13:37 Philippine Standard Time. A 6.5 magnitude earthquake hit eastern Samar on Tuesday afternoon, less than 24 hours after a 6.1 magnitude tremor shook Sambales.